Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. That is not the agreement we have, said President Donald Trump, accusing Iran over the handling of the Strait of Hormuz as ships hesitate to pass and global energy markets react. Now, meanwhile, Israel signals openness to talks with Lebanon even as its air campaign intensifies, blurring the line between diplomacy and escalation. Now, with negotiations set to begin in Pakistan this weekend, is this the start of a political process or a pause before something bigger? We'll discuss all the latest now with our guest, Andréas C Hatzidiakos, co-director of OPEWI, Europe's War Institute. Good to have you with us here on TVP World.
Hi, good to be here.
So President Trump has said just recently this is not the agreement that we have, referring to what is a very fragile agreement, very much specifically about criticizing Iran of the Hormuz. So just your sense, what agreement do we have in your mind at this point?
That is a very good question. We don't know what kind of agreement we have. I mean, on paper, we have diplomacy, and on the ground, we have massive escalation. When you look at the attacks Israel conducted just 24 hours after the ceasefire was announced, it's appalling. Hundreds of targets hit in just 10 minutes, over 300 people killed, more than 1,200 people wounded. It seems to me that this ceasefire, this agreement to discuss what's next, is used as a cover, at least from the Israel side, for continued escalation. J.D. Vance called this a legitimate misunderstanding. Iran thought Lebanon was included. The U.S. said that it was not. Pakistanis said that it was. So I think it's very complicated to see who is in the right there. It's the lines are being blurred. I hope we'll know more after this weekend. So yeah, let's see how things go after Saturday.
Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, that connection between Israel and the United States is crucial here. I mean, the kind of support that Netanyahu has been receiving from Donald Trump is also crucial. Now, Trump has also said this in the last few hours, that he's, and I'm quoting here, would tell Israel to low-key it in terms of referring to the campaign in Lebanon. So what do you make of that? Is Israel going to listen to the United States? Is it vice versa? Will someone back down, or is this just going to continue this way?
I think that there was some structural ambiguity. I mean, on the U.S. side, there was a deliberate political choice designed to give Israel room to act. Why? Because Netanyahu had some objectives in Iran when he entered the war, and he has clearly not attained them. So what happened there is that Netanyahu appears to be deliberately decoupling the confrontation with Iran from the ongoing conflict with Hezbollah. Of course, Trump is saying in the news that he is talking to, as he called him, Bibi, in order to tell him to low-key things, to stop strikes in order for the ceasefire to happen, for the negotiations to happen. But this is communication for the moment. As you've seen, there is no public indication that Netanyahu, who is prepared to scale back the strikes. He spoke about direct negotiations with Lebanon, but that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's also, I think, mentioned that same one that he reserves the right to strike Hezbollah at any time. Also, looking at Iran as well a bit further, I mean, President Trump has been very critical of how they've handled things in the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, he's saying that they've been charging for the tankers to go through. What's your sense of that, and how much is that going to be another powder keg to have all this go off again?
I mean, yeah, he criticized Iran for charging a fee in the Strait of Hormuz, but at the same time, he also spoke about a joint venture between the U.S. and Iran. So, again, it's about optics. Everything is about optics with Trump. So, the only thing that is for sure is that this war has made Iran more dangerous, right? So if on the one side, Trump cannot guarantee a ceasefire also from Israel, Iran has no reason, no logical reason to also ask his, first of all, proxies such as Hezbollah to tone down or to not continue escalating situation in the Strait of Hormuz. Just a few days ago, Iran said that there were mines that were deployed in the strait and that if cargoes wanted to cross the region, they had to follow a specific pre-designed route from the north of the island of Kars. So Iran is completely taking the control there. Whether there are mines, maritime mines in the region or not, we don't know. We will simply not know if it's a bluff or not. We just have to believe them and say and play with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you mentioned there, a bluff of who's bluffing here first. I'm just curious. I mean, there's so much happening very quickly, but ultimately, right now, who do you think is gaining the most out of all this? I mean, they're contesting, they're accusing each other, Iran, the United States. Who, if this continues over the weekend at least in this way, who gains the most if this ceasefire holds or if it doesn't?
It's very difficult to say, but I would say Iran, in the sense that Iran is winning by not losing, whereas Trump has to win in order not to lose, in the sense that Iran has all the cards in their hands now. They know what they want. They are in a position of superiority here. They handle the Strait of Hormuz. They have their proxies ready to step up if need be, either in Israel or even in the Red Sea, in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, through the Houthis. So now we've seen the 10 points that were sent by Iran. They're not negotiating from a weak position, right? We've seen it in their demanding no more sanctions. They're demanding the ability to continue enriching uranium. For Trump, it's a red line, but actually, I think Iran is very well advanced in those negotiations. They start from a position of power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on that one, I just want to ask a follow-up. As you said, the red line for the administration, this nuclear enrichment, Iran says it's going to continue. I think we've had those words of the head of the nuclear agency there in Iran. I mean, is this compatible at all? Is this, again, just rhetoric until something concretely turns in? Or is this just going to fall flat when the weekend shows up?
That is the big question. I mean, it's really a red line on the side of Trump and also Israel. No enrichment on Iranian soil. Full stop, not even for civilian means. And actually, what happened is that this war that Trump started did not weaken Iran's nuclear ambition. On the contrary, it reinforced them. Right. This is the strategic paradox of at the heart of this entire confrontation. Now more than ever, Iran is convinced that they need the nuclear enrichment. They need their ballistic program. They need to continue funding their proxies in the region, because this is exactly what has kept them resilient, what has kept them going for so long, confronting the world's first superpower. Trump now is humiliated. The U.S. is not the superpower we all thought it was. After World War I, the U.S. was seen as the biggest power there is, and I think that's just ended.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, these are critical days ahead, as you said. Much can still happen. One thing also, which I'm curious about, is we don't have that much details from it, but President Trump has touted that there's a kind of a force to ensure that the Strait of Hormuz is open, and part of that should include the Europeans, should maybe include NATO, other allies. So, first of all, in your mind, how realistic is this? How do you see Europe's involvement in all this, and how quickly could that actually turn into something tangible?
We have to be honest about a few things. We have done three things throughout this crisis. We Europeans, we have issued statements condemning Israel, condemning Iran, exhorting Trump to stop attacks. We have called for a restraint, and we have shown up late for every conversation. This is simply not enough. The fact that Trump is asking Europe to deploy naval forces to the Strait of Hormuz, a strait that we Europeans depend on for energy, while they negotiate a deal with Iran that Europe is not part of, is problematic, right? Why? Because Trump is consistently, for the past month, asking Europeans to step up and to take control take control of the strait, in the sense of deploying vessels in order to secure safe and free passage. This is not a time for Europeans to be weak. If we are to send at some point warship.
Just quickly on that one, because at the same time, I mean, the criticism on Trump on the one hand, but at the same time, there was no consultation of European allies before these attacks took place in the first place. So I'm just wondering, would that be different if the United States had consulted allies?
I don't think it would have been different. For us, I mean, for Europeans, the most important thing is to be respectful of international humanitarian law, of international law. Regarding how things are unfolding in the Strait of Hormuz, now Europeans cannot deploy vessels. We are not part of this conflict. We do not want to be part of this conflict. And our only added value is being there in order to help with the ceasefire, in order to support cargo vessels going through the Strait of Hormuz, and be part of a real political process. Having a role in the negotiations, being there and conducting the war. This is not what Europeans do.
All right, so it will be critical what does happen on the weekend, starting from tomorrow with those talks in Pakistan. Look, thank you so much for all those interesting points there. Our guest there, Andréas C Hatzidiakos, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more news and commentary. Goodbye.